Sorry. I am just enjoying my homemade cup of Cory coffee. Check nyo lang. Pakita ko lang sandali. It's actually brewed coffee that I frozen in an ice tray. Tapos, nilagyan ko ng a little bit of sugar, syrup, sorry, and then a little bit of caramel, what do you call this? Caramel syrup, and lots of milk. So yun. Okay, so this evening we have quite a number of things to discuss. I'm just putting on my lapel because I think medyo dadagdag yung mga topics that pag-uusapan natin dahil may mga developments tayong narinig in the span of just a couple of days. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to our live stream this evening. Thank you very much for the patience because I know that during our poll and Instagram, a lot of you actually wanted to do a live stream last evening. However, I did make sure that if I'm going to tackle some sensitive topics, I needed to make sure that I do my research before I make the live stream topics dahil ayokong magkamali tayo, okay? Ayokong maging cause for libel. Ayan. So, hello, good evening sa lahat. First here na nandito ngayon sina Mark Gonzalez. Hello, good evening, Mark. Glad to see that you're always here. We also have Hajiev. We have RM McCase and several other new faces na nandito ngayon. Okay, so sabi ni RM McCase, good evening, sir. Catching up with your discussion after a busy week. Hope everyone's fine. I do hope everyone's fine as well dahil tingin ko ang daming parang drama na nangyari ngayon sa Miss Universe that we really need a breather. And even yung mga behind the scenes na mga drama na hindi ko masyado dinidiscuss with you guys na nag-umpisa towards the end of October. At this point in time, gusto kong ilabas na to talk about it so that if in case na tawag ito na maging issue siya later on, at least you know kung bakit. Okay? So, first things first, kamustahan muna tayo. RM McCase is here, Hajiev is here. Sabi ni Hajiev, good evening, sir. Bankrupt is in, pageant owner and pageant contestants family. I'm just wondering on the timing of the announcement of the bankruptcy of JKN, parang may something. Okay, pag-usapan natin yan mamaya because I think there is a difference between bankruptcy and debt rehabilitation. I think somebody in the Instagram comments explained to me the difference between those. I did some digging myself and mas naliwanagan ako about the difference, the very subtle differences between bankruptcy and debt rehabilitation. Okay? Dominic Martin Mission is here. Hi, Sir Jason. Watching from Perth. Hello. What can you say about the Pachaani BQM? I haven't seen it yet, so probably I need to get abreast on that first. I hope you can post it on the comment section kung ano yung Pachaani BQM because I also have heard some things that I think I will be releasing a little bit later on with regards to the Miss Universe pageant and the contestants rather. Okay, Dominic Martin Mission says, especially sa contenders for El Tacuyo. Pag-usapan natin mamaya yung mga nominees natin for El Tacuyo. June, sabi niya, naimbag nga Rabii, Sir Jason, naimbag nga Rabii, Kinyam Kabsat. I hope I said that right. It's been a long time since hindi ko napapractice masyado mag-Ilocano. Solitaire Guy says, pa-attendance from the Marshall Islands. Hello there. Ayun. Sana magandang weather dyan ngayon. Kasi dito, it's not sunshiny weather. It's not raining. It's cloudy, overcast. in some parts of Metro Manila, I think may scattered rain showers that's happening here. So I do hope there it's in perfect na weather on your end. Okay, June says, I heard from Tita Elmi something big that will be announced on November 16. Ano po kaya yun? I'm hoping that it's something to do with the Miss Universe 2024 na announcement na sana sa Mexico nga mangyayari, if rumors are true. Saldi Salen says, good evening, Sir Jess. Did the delegate of Zimbabwe made it to San Salvador? Just curious, Zimbabwe crowned a white miss. It's Brooke Jackson. She's there. She's in El Salvador. She is actually featured on several mga reels ng Miss Universe organization. She's also been featured on the IG pages ng mga MOBA Cosmetics team. So if you're familiar with who are the guys dun sa MOBA Cosmetics, Miss Zimbabwe is featured there in their pages. Elizabeth Oshal, pa-attendance from Cavite. Hello. Magandang gabi, Elizabeth. I hope you're doing fine. I hope your family is safe and sound and nag-enjoy ka dito sa ating pa-live stream ngayon. Marami tayong pag-uusapan. We have at least 5 things that has happened or is currently happening that I think you are going to be able to enjoy ng mga issues and controversies. But I do hope that in a matter of time, these would resolve themselves later on. The Whatever channel says, my friend, explain it us in English. We are international fans and followers there. Okay, I will try to make this as much as possible in English so that everyone is able to join in the conversation. Okay? Thank you for reminding me as well on that. RM McCase is here. Sabi niya, this idea of putting Antonia Porsild under the microscope with that mall show, getting close to the Latina frontrunners, and isolating herself from Asian queens, especially MMD, I find it baffling, to be honest. And RM McCase, we should not be pointing, or rather, we should not be too condescending in that manner, because in the past, that has been the Philippine representatives who are doing that in order for them to get noticed. And if you remember, at some point, Miriam Kiambao in 1999 mentioned that she was instructed that she needed to be photographed with most of the Latina girls so that she gets the exposure that she wants or that's needed for her in order for her to be noticed in the pageant. And I don't think that it is something that we Filipino fans, or any fan for that matter, should be commenting negatively about, because at some point we were doing that as well. And this has been a strategy in order for a lot of people to get noticed, a lot of our representatives to get noticed. So I don't see anything wrong about that. I think that there is just a, ridiculous amount of scrutiny on Antonia, because one, she comes from a very powerful, or rather from a very pageant country, very pageant focused country like Thailand. She is a former Miss Supranational winner, and we are seeing her probably at the back of our heads as a major threat to the crown. So maybe that's the area where the scrutiny comes from. So, okay. Hajiev says, mag-resign or retire na rin daw si Paula. Ako, if ever, change of an era na nga. Paula Sugart has been in the industry, in the Miss Universe, since I think around 1998 or 1997. So if she decides to step down from her post, then that should not be something that is surprising, because she has been in the helm for several years now, for several decades now. And in fact, when the Miss Universe organization have hired a president on top of, a CEO on top of Paula Sugart, that signals to us that changes are happening. And it is a matter of time that, you know, the major stalwarts of the Miss Universe organization is replaced with the incoming of a, you know, of new leadership and ownership of the pageant. So I would not be shocked or surprised, but I would be very, you know, it would be a bittersweet moment if that happens anytime soon, because for the longest time, I think Paula Sugard has been the face, a pillar of the Miss Universe pageant, and I think that her leaving sometime in the future would cause, you know, fans to feel, you know, sadness with regards to that. However, this is not something that I am not discounting, because last year we've seen major key players in the organization leave the organization, like Esther Swan, and I kept on forgetting the last name of Carlos, the one who's in charge of the franchisee international franchisee for the Miss Universe organization. The fact that they left the organization, it signals that things will keep on changing until probably there will be new faces that's running the organization. And based on my experience, you know, the marketing people, the key marketing people that we kept communications on with regards to our coverage back in 2014, 2015 up to 2018, they're no longer in the organization as well. Jackie Shahinian, who has been a very helpful name for us on the marketing side of the Miss Universe organization, who kept us aligned and on our toes, and has been very friendly to the press people, is no longer with the organization for the past 2, 3, or 4 years. So we really are going to see changes in leadership, and therefore we might be seeing key players, key organizational people leave the Miss Universe organization, especially when the headquarters is going to be moved from New York to Bangkok in the next several years. So we should be emotionally and mentally prepared for that to happen anytime soon. Okay? First salvo pa lang, the conversation is already a little bit heavy. Okay, sabi ni June, I think major turn off yung ginawa ni Miss Nepal, baka hindi na siya makasemis. I also don't think that scrutinizing every movement, every video on the candidates is helpful as well, because I think if it has been a very long day for them, they wanted to rest, it also makes them just human to want to just shut down and rest and sleep and not to engage. And I think a lot of people need to understand that there is a time and place where we should be doing this coverage. We should also be understanding that these candidates are human as well, and that they get tired. And then they also have, you know, moments and days and times where they're not in the best shape to be social. Okay? The Whatever channel says, love you, thanks. Love you too. Thank you very much for the love. Postponing the dates would be better to fix this mess we are watching. I lost passion watching days ago easily and quickly. I don't think that there is a possibility for them to even make changes in the dates, because everything that they have already prepared, it's already in the box. They cannot move dates unless it's a major, you know, natural disaster happening, because of the fact that there are contracts involved, and postponing, moving dates would mean that they would have to spend more money on the dates where they have to book for the venue, book for the production team to be there at the venue, and etc. So there really are a lot of moving pieces involved that I don't think they can, or they are even allowed to think of postponing the pageant. Coach Moss, sabi niya, hi sir, I'm not seeing PH on most hot picks, especially the Latin pages. Uh, Probably I will be talking about that in a chat session later. So watch out for that. We might we're waiting for some more news from some more gossip and rumors from our friends who are in the know. Okay. June says, Mrs. Sorela's family problem may make the org not pick her since problematic siya pag nagkataon. And I will be discussing that in a little bit. Let me just go through more comments before we jump into that conversation, because that's the first thing in our agenda for this evening. There are 5 issues and controversies that I want to focus on. First, of course, is the Moriah Wilson issue with regards to the issue with the businesses that her parents set her up in. Of course, the Gimnasio Nacional, José Adolfo Pineda, that was photo finished right before the start of the Miss Universe pageant, and how it affected the third topic, which is ticket sales and ticket prices. And then we will be talking about Madam Pui Sangkosik of the Miss Universe Thailand organization, and what could have been a disaster for both Philippine and Thai fans. And then we will be tackling lastly the JKN Global finances that has been the topic of conversation for everyone. Okay, so before we do that, please do visit our poll that we just published earlier before the start of our live stream. It's up in your upper right hand corner on the chat box, on the live chat box. You have options there. The poll question for this evening is, how are you going to watch the Miss Universe preliminaries? And I'm currently looking at the poll, and it's moving in favor of the second option, which is waiting for the pirated live stream to happen. So that's one of the options. The other options are wait for, or rather, you're going to pay to watch via the Live Bash website. And the third is not yet sure how to watch. Okay, so please do participate in the poll, and we will be having this up until the end of this live stream this evening. Okay, Crisanto Espinosilia is here. Good evening po sa'yo. Kain po tayo. On my end, I've prepared coffee, Cory Coffee coffee for this evening, para kailangan alive and enthusiastic tayo throughout the entire live stream, because I think that baka umabot tayo ng an hour and 30 minutes dito sa live stream na to. Okay, continue din sa comment ni Crisanto Espinosilia. Bigay ko top 20. Number 1, Philippines. Number 2, Colombia. Number 3, Peru. 4 is El Salvador. 5 is India. 6, Pakistan. 7, France. 8, Spain. 9, USA. And you forgot the number 10. Number 11, sabi ni Crisanto, is Vietnam. Number 12 is Zimbabwe. Number 13 is Nicaragua. 14 is Chile. 15 is Denmark. 16 is Germany. 17 Guatemala, 18 Panama, 19 Hong Kong, and 20 Canada. Okay. Art Laurent, hello, ¿cómo está, amigo? Buenos días in Spain. I think that's morning in Spain right now. So hello, good evening, good morning. Sabi niya, magbayad na kayo para sa preliminary at national costume competition para mabayaran naman ni Hello Universe ang jutangs niya. Okay, Ben Hernandez, hello, good evening. Sabi niya, hindi kaya paandar na naman ni Hello itong bankruptcy issue for the sake of Chichi, as in mapag-usapan lang sila? I don't know. I think it's too incredulous for it to be just a plot to be talked about, because real circumstances are happening right of this moment. So I don't know, maybe it's just a consequence perhaps of what's going on their financials. Travel Junkie is here, present, sir. RM case, sir, in your experience as a pageant analyst, does the styling of a candidate really has importance? Yes and no. Yes, because you wanted to make sure that you present yourself well in any competition, always best foot forward. You have to embody the kind of person that you think or that the organization thinks is their best fit for the position that's available, which is the Miss Universe na title. But at the same time, I think it's much more important to really be showcasing authenticity, what you've done for your community, who you are as a person, in order for you to be seen as a viable option for the title. I think more than wardrobe, it is understanding your branding and how it affects the larger conversation on are you the person that the organization is looking for. Okay? Ben Hernandez, sa vlog ni Danny Walker, Miss Montana USA 2018, ay nasa $5 daw ang paid viewing ng Miss Universe Prelims. Ang mahal pa rin kasi that $5 is $5 for the Miss Universe Preliminaries and then another $5 for the National Costume Show. I'm not sure if that's the case. I haven't checked it yet. I haven't even purchased my tickets. Somebody already offered for me to buy the ticket for me, and I will be calling on them on that later on, because apparently the live stream will happen around a day after here in the Philippines. So if it's a Wednesday in it's a Wednesday in El Salvador, in San Salvador, that's around probably early morning here in the Philippines. So I am going to double check first the time the time difference between the two countries. Alejandro Inigo Sr. Is here. Wait na lang sa final via ABS-CBN show. Sabi ni June, nagbago po ranking ni MMD for you. I will double check my list yet, because I think Michelle is steady dun sa kanyang position on my list. I think it's several girls that went up, and some girls that are on the top of my list went down. So I think it's the top 5 that really made some major movements in terms of their ranking, at least on my end. Ben Hernandez is saying, sana maka-place sina Netherlands and Portugal, who are trans women, Nepal, who is plus size, Colombia and Guatemala, who are moms with kids. I agree. However, I think probably per category, there will only be just one person who can make it into the semis. But let's hoping for more inclusion in terms of racial profile, in terms of ethnicity, in terms of perspective, and we call this and political thinking as well, because I think Miss Universe might be skirting some political issues and social issues that's happening nowadays. So I am thinking that they might go the safer route at this point. Okay, Zainab is here. I like that you aren't biased with your opinions. I try to, Zainab. But sometimes there are some biases, like my bias towards, Indian women like Shweta Sharda and Brioni Govender does tend to pop up every now and then. It's especially during Harna's time, because me and my friend Mark Sobrajani, we were really like rooting for her to win. So every now and then, there are still some certain biases towards countries in the 90s that we fell in love with, that we continue to support at this time. Alejandro Inigo Sr. said, so far, very queenly sila PR and Venezuela. I agree. There is a certain amount of like performance that you see in them that you're going to keep your eye on them, especially come preliminaries. John Snow 79, sabi niya, hi Jason, live bash broadcasts, live events, and use blockchain to convert live performances into digital collectibles and non-fungible tokens. Obvious connection sa nabulyasong MU coins. Okay, we made some tea with regards to that. I do hope na naintindihan niya yung tea because it's in a very very difficult to understand na gay lingo. But if you are able to understand, good for you. Sabi ni Jun, I hope mag-enjoy mag-enjoy lang si Antonia. I think she's enjoying din naman. Elizabeth Oshal says, I'd rather vote MMD than purchase the live streaming. I'll wait na lang for some snippets on social media. Travel Junkie says, Sir Jason, what do you think will be the most important thing to win this edition? Last year is more of the advocacy. Do you think now it's branding, business? They need money kasi? I think they really need to crown a Miss Universe that is very commercial in appeal. I think that is going to be something that we are on the lookout for because they need someone who can bring in money, essentially. Okay? Okay, so nasa na ba tayo sa ating live stream question? So far, 13% of you are saying that you're going to watch via paid live stream on Live Bash. 37% of you are saying not yet sure on how to watch. Okay? While 50%, malaking chunk of you are saying we're going to wait for a pirated live stream of the event. Okay. I think it's time that we start with the topic. There are 5 topics, issues that we need to cover this evening. As you can see, my notes are full. So I do hope that we have more than enough time to finish all of them. Okay? So first, let's talk about the Moriah Wilson issue from Australia. Now, from what I have researched so far is that the father of Moriah, or her parents for that matter, is throwing her under the bus with regards to the businesses that they opened for her. Essentially, the parents opened like 10 companies where they put Moriah's name under the director of these companies, which is for me a red flag. Because one, Moriah is very young, and two, having someone who is in their late teens or early 20s as directors of a company would give you the feeling, or the gut feel, should give you the gut feel that something's not right with these corporations. Because 10 corporations, I would understand if it's maybe 1 or 2, but 10 corporations under just one name, and someone that is still can be considered a minor in some other countries. In the US, it's you're still considered a minor if you're under 21. In the Philippines, you're considered a minor if you're under 18. So if Moriah was, named director of these companies at age 18, that should be something that would be alarming for you, because she's too young and she might be used by her parents as I don't know, like a scapegoat or a fall guy if things don't go their way. And in the Yahoo News clip that news bit that I posted on our socials, we are not very confident that the parents are of good intention when they put Moriah as the director of these companies, because she's too young. And despite the fact that even if she wants to be successful even at a young age, parents should be able to guide these their children in the world of business and not just dump in huge responsibilities on her. And I think that is why the Miss Universe Australia National Director didn't find anything that should be should be cause for her to be stripped of her title and not compete at Miss Universe. So I think that we need to be very careful with pronouncements with regards to Moriah, because she isn't involved in the operations of those 10 companies, and she's only director by name. And that's another red flag, because she resigned on all of those companies, her position on all those companies. And I think that is giving us the context that we need to look at. Because if this is the case that her parents, or her father for that matter, is throwing her under the bus and make her take all the, the fall back from all of the debts and all of the tax issues that is involved in this matter, I think that she is in her rights to protect herself, and I think that we need to be very careful on saying that she is, guilty on this charges. It might happen that ginagamit, tataguluguin ko lang to in this part, okay? Pwedeng ginagamit lang siya ng parents niya para siya yung umako ng responsibilidad if in case magkandaleche-leche yung mga nangyayari doon sa mga kumpanyang ito. And I think that's unfair to Moraya, because parents should be the ones who are going to show them, what good citizenship means. So I really am kind of disappointed that this is happening with Moraya. And I really also believe that she needs to take her stand and be public with a statement for her to protect herself. Because the optics here is that it is becoming a he said, she said situation. And if she is innocent with all of these that's happening, she should be very vocal to proclaim her innocence. And I know it is unfair for her to do that while she is in the midst of a competition. I think this is where the national organization, the Miss Australia organization, should step in to clarify the issue in her behalf, because that is what good national organizations do in order to protect their winner. Okay. Sabi ni June, family corporations usually name the children as directors or shareholders to keep control within the family. It's also common here in the Philippines. It's a way of tax avoidance and estate planning. That's what I am saying. If you're doing this for 10 companies, that is already a red flag if you're doing that, because it's showing that you are making sure that whatever that you need to avoid in terms of your legal obligations, you're avoiding it under the legal manner. And this is where it's unfair to pile on the responsibility, the burden on Moraya to explain herself in this instance. Okay? Showbiz Titas is here. Hello, Showbiz Titas. Kumusta? Sabi niya, hello, Sir Jason. Otan is here. Sabi niya, Sir Jason, ano yung vid na kumakalat na parang nagka-mild stroke si Antonia? I am not sure with what that video is. I haven't seen it yet. Sabi ni Showbiz Titas, I'm here now in YouTube to support you. Thank you, Showbiz Titas. Really appreciate that. Okay, so going back now to the issue with Moriah Wilson, I think that this is a clear case where you get doubts with regards to the intention of the parents, because as of this moment, I am leaning towards this might be a case of like child exploitation through financial exploitation. So I do hope that instead of making this an issue that Moraya would have to deal on herself, I hope that she gets the proper support with her organization to address this issue. Okay? This is not an issue according to the Miss Universe Australia National Director. So I think that as the head of the organization, you help in making sure that your winner is protected. Okay, now on to the next topic, which is the Gimnasio Nacional Adolfo Pineda. And I think for a lot of you are not you're not quite aware that there was actually some worry on some Latino pages and even myself with regards to the viability of the venue, or whether or not the renovations are going to be finished on time for the Miss Universe pageant to happen, because apparently towards the first few weeks, first few days, sorry, of the month of November, that is only when the full renovations have already finished, or rather, maybe the main, the main areas that needs to be renovated is already done, and it was under renovation for the longest time since it was announced. I believe that renovations on the old Gimnasio Nacional is going to take place. I think that there are videos that came about with regards to the progress of the renovations, and up until around, I think it was the last week of October, there were videos showing that a lot of the interiors is not yet finished. So I was worried that it might not happen. However, with the pronouncement of Kun An that it will happen, that it will be set in stone, that those dates that were declared as the preliminaries, the national costume show, and the finals are going to push through. This is, this is something that made us a little bit more calm with regards to what's going to happen. And apparently now, the majority of the interior is already finished, and we've seen some snippets and videos of what's the construction inside the stadium, or inside the venue is happening. And we can say that half of the entire arena is not going to be used for the Miss Universe na production. And the reason for that, it's because it looks, if these are your areas where there are your, we call this your seats, right smack at the center of that, what do you call this, of the venue, is where the stage and the VVIP section is going to be located. And therefore, anything at the back of that stage is not going to be used for ticket selling. So it's going to be vacant. Nobody's going to sit there, because you're not going to see anything, because what you're going to essentially be looking at are the backs of the candidates, or the back of the LED screens that's going to block your view of the stage. So therefore, only half of the actual venue can be booked for ticket selling, that can be used for seating. And this is the reason why now I know that the very expensive tickets are based on that factor, that essentially half of the entire venue cannot be used for ticket selling. And this is why we cannot say that, okay, the prices are exorbitant, because it probably is made that way in order for the Miss Universe organization to break even with regards to the venue. I was watching kasi closely the developments in the venue through different Latin pages and different Latin news na mga personalities, and it really makes sense that you are going to have your stage facing one side of the entire arena, and that half of that arena essentially is the only area where the Miss Universe organization is going to make money out of. So this is the reason why we see like their ticket prices ranges from 5,000 US dollars to 2,000 US dollars to 500 US dollars. It's kind of exorbitant. It's kind of very expensive. But thinking of one, inflation, and two, the amount of seats that's going to be sold, in order for the organization to at least recuperate the losses from the seats that's not going to be used for selling, they really had to amp up the existing tickets for the areas that are going to be used for ticket selling. And this is where I'm kind of saddened because back in the day, there was a time where the Miss Universe tickets would only be around $200, $250. In fact, as I was going through some of my old tickets in Miss Universe, this is actually my ticket from the Miss Universe in 2016 that happened in January 2017 here in Manila. The cost is around the same amount as the cheapest ticket this year. So if you're going to calculate the $500 tickets in what do you call this in El Salvador this year, it would roughly translate to around 28,500 pesos. Now, with regards to this ticket, my ticket here for the Miss Universe pageant in what do you call this in Manila was around 25,800 pesos. So that is how large the jump is. It means that one of the more expensive tickets in Manila is the cheapest tickets in El Salvador, and that was just only like about 6-7 years difference from when it happened. And that's that's how it is, because they really need to make money because of one, their financial situation, two, the venue and how it is laid out, and probably three, they really need to make sure that they recuperate their expenses and then they end out on the positive, not on the red, after the finances has all been calculated. Now, let's go back to some of the some of the ticket prices that we were able to look at over the past several years that we did cover when we did cover Miss Universe live on site. When we watched the Miss Universe pageant in Bangkok in 2018, December of 2018, the ticket cost us at around 6,500 baht. So approximately during that time, if you calculate the Thai baht versus Filipino peso currencies, that amount will be around 10,500 pesos. And pretty much, I think that those are the tickets that are on the cheaper side, pretty much like the ones in El Salvador. The cheap, and imagine yung laktaw niya from 28,000 in 2023 to the 10,000 in back in 2018. You can see how large the ticket has jumped. And I think the Miss Universe organization realizes that the pageant fans are willing to spend on such an exorbitant amount of tickets because you have a loyal following and you have a loyal fan base. And I think this is the reason why every year the tickets keep on getting higher, the tickets kept on, multiplying leaps and bounds because they understand that there is a dedicated, viewers that's willing to spend. And if you're gonna imagine that in 2021 there were 7 tiers of the tickets that ranges from $173 to 253 to 354 and 439. In 2019, the ticket prices were around 300 to 1,300. And yung ticket in 2021, that's not even accounting the I think the 1,500 plus na mga VIP tickets. So you can really see how the Miss Universe organization are really milking, the pageant fans in terms of ticket prices. And this is not to say that this is the only area that they're doing this. In fact, someone from the organization, from the Binibining Pilipinas organization, mistakenly slipped the information that every year the franchises go higher. And if we are to believe that the Miss Universe Philippines franchise nowadays is around 100,000 US dollars annually, then we might think that, okay, we need to start thinking of the Miss Universe organization as a money-making business entity. This is not just your typical pageant where some pageants would make their sponsors pay for majority of the expenses that they have for the year, but this is now an income generating business. Miss Universe, we really need to start thinking of the Miss Universe business as a money-making entity. Okay? June Masa says on the comment section that mas mahal pa sa Broadway show yung tickets. I agree, because when I went to Broadway, when I went to New York in 2013, a Broadway play or musical would cost me at around 180 na US dollars. And that is pretty much a expensive na ticket. But looking at Miss Universe nowadays, it's like, okay, it pretty much is going towards the rate of like big international musical performers in terms of their ticket prices. So I do hope that the show later on the finals is commensurate to the to the ticket prices that they are charging. Because I remember during the time of Pia, the time of MJ, entry to the may nalaglag. Sorry about that. Let me just pick that up. Okay. Because I actually wanted to show you that the Miss Universe rehearsal in in 2015 doesn't cost much. You can see here this ticket, which is the access at Planet Hollywood. It would show you that last December 20 in 2025, the entrance doesn't cost you anything for the dress rehearsal. Okay? That shows you na noon, wala kami binabayaran kapag nagko-cover kami ng dress rehearsal. Nowadays, it was mentioned to me that the ticket prices for the dress rehearsals would range up from like around 25 US dollars to around 50 US dollars nowadays. So it really tells you how the Miss Universe organization is trying to milk the it's trying to milk the the revenue out from the pageant fans. And I don't think that this is something that is a negative, but I do hope that for those who can afford, the Miss Universe organization would have other avenues for them so that they are able to participate with the pageant, whether it's through snippets of the finals or the preliminaries on their socials, or anything that would make them a little bit more accessible to pageant fans who are not as well off. Because if you're going to look at those who are loyal fans of the Miss Universe pageant, majority of them grew up in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the 80s, who are accustomed to free streaming, who are accustomed to this, free dress rehearsal perks at the venue of the Miss Universe pageant. So I do hope that in the future, or even in this year, they would try to do something that would make it more accessible for people outside the United States to be able to watch the Miss Universe preliminaries, or kahit man lang sana the national costume show is free for people to watch. Okay? Nasaan na tayo? Okay. So, before we jump into the last two topics that I wanted to discuss, let's jump in muna on the poll and on the comment section. Because right now, in terms of the poll, 49% for you, of you, is saying that you're probably going to wait for a pirated live stream to happen on the preliminaries. And 35% is saying that you're not yet sure on how or where to watch. While 16% ang mayaman. 15% is saying that they want to watch the live bash by paying for it. Okay? So, sa mga comments, let's jump into the comments. Kiisa says, I-paid vote ko na lang si MMD sa VFC at sa MU app rather than pay for prelims and national costume streaming. Sabi ni June, there are legal ways of tax avoidance. Alam ng mga corporations yun. However, what's happening to Miss Universe Australia is seriously shady. Yun nga ang sinasabi ko, June. Parang hindi maganda yung intention ng magulang doon sa ginawa niya. Parang pinapalabas niya lang kasi dito na gusto niyang gawin na fallback ng kung bulilyaso man ang mga kumpanyang to, ang malalagay sa alanganin is yung bata, hindi sila. So it kind of rubs me the wrong way. That's why I do hope that people who are supporting, Moraya, who know the truth, would speak out and be active in, letting people know regarding the situation. Sabi ni Showbiz Titas, methinks MUO will go away with Moraya. It's another financial issue to tackle and deal with by JKN or MUO if ever. Rodvin Fiel is here. Sabi niya, hi sir, present po. Hello and welcome, Rodvin. I hope you're enjoying dito sa ating live stream. I think, I'm sorry if I only read your comment quite late. Miko Amoite says, watching from... Hindi natin niya itinuloy yung comment niya. Okay, June says, I hope Kunan is only milking MU for MU survival and smooth running, not for the entire JKN empire. Jon Snow says, regarding money-making scheme ng MU, pwede rin kasi na nahihirapan na rin sila makakuha ng sponsor, lalo na brands na worldwide na kilala. Yan din siguro yung reason kaya may mga pa-merchandise na rin sila. And I think that's the reason also why each pageant has different ways of trying to survive. With Miss Universe, I think them going towards merchandising, going towards them moving to really milk the revenues from the national directors through franchise fees, the production through the Miss Universe production fees and hosting fees, the Miss Universe branded na mga products with partnerships with skincare makers, with other other designers, etc. on their Miss Universe shop na feature. I think we are now understanding how pageants can be a business. How pageants can start moving from the traditional pageant na business entities to more money-making na mga tao ito, na mga entities. Because nowadays, they really need to the pageants really need to understand how to survive. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why napopostpone parati si Miss World, dahil perhaps finding sponsors is an issue. Finding, viable brands to sponsor the pageant is something that is difficult for pageantry nowadays, especially when the overall, thinking of the global community with regards to pageant is that it's an outdated na mechanism. And if you look at it that way, then pageants really have to reinvent themselves rather than sticking to their old formulas and then I don't know, vanishing at one point, they really have to fight for their survival. Wait, where are we? Sabi ni Otan, ubos na budget, kakavote kay MMD, kaya will be going for pirated na lang muna. LOL. Okay, where are we? Whatever channel says, I guess most tickets are not bought. I smell an empty scene this time. If the Miss Universe organization is pushing for, if you noticed, they keep on pushing, fans to watch via the live bash. I think it's safe to say that there's not a lot of people who are paying for the live stream. So maybe that's the scenario. That's why if you look at their content, they keep on publishing in their stories, encouraging fans to watch the paid live stream of the Miss Universe preliminaries. So I am really quite unsure whether or not this scheme, or rather this move towards paid content, is something that fans are going to latch on, because for the longest time, this has been something that has been free at their YouTube live stream. So I think that maybe a day or two after the Miss Universe preliminaries, they might be uploading the entire preliminary and national costume shows on their YouTube, because that's the time where they can earn additional revenue on the YouTube na monetized platform. So we have to probably wait a day or two after the finals before we can see it on their channels. So let's wait and see. John Snow says, naalala ko pa mga bonggang prizes ng Miss Uni winners before na pinapakita sa final broadcast. Nawala na recently. Because I don't think that a lot of sponsors are giving cash prizes. Maybe the reason why kapag tinitingnan mo yung mga prizes ng mga Miss Universe ngayon, it's mostly public appearances, fees, and nakikita naman natin na it's no longer viable na tawag ito na magre-rely ka na lang sa mga cash prizes mo sa Miss Universe or whatever pageant, dahil tingin ko sa ngayon mas kinakailangan kumita ng mga pageant na organizations. And the only reason why pageant girls are there, it's not for the prize money, but rather the exposure that they get after they won Miss Universe. And I think ito yung isa sa mga pinanghahawakan ng mga pageant girls na kahit wala na masyadong prizes, or the prizes are not as delectable or are not as bongacious as the prizes from, let's say, the 1980s, where sometimes fur coats, diamond jewelries, even, cars are part of the winning prizes of the Miss Universe winner. It's no longer like that nowadays. But what guarantees you is a platform where after your pageant career is over, you get endorsements. And this is where, former Miss Universe winners, like, let's say, P Awards back, is still milking on at this point in time. Years, almost a decade now, after P1 Miss Universe, she's still banking on the career that she was able to establish based on the brands that kept on getting her as endorser. And this is why I think Miss Universe winners are more likely to look on rather than latch on the whatever prizes that they get in the pageant. Okay, Jamamihan is here. Sabi niya, applicable din po ba ang merchandise business model sa male pageantry? Applicable siya, pero ang problema is sinong bibili? Anong bibilhin? And I think before it gets to that point where the male pageant industry gets to the level where they can sell merchandise, they can they can get endorsement deals for their winners for whatever part of the prize package that they have. They really first need to establish male pageants as a respectable in a respectable industry, because yun yung kulang at nawawala pa sa male pageants. Yung respeto ng mga pageant fans na sinusundan yung mga winners not because they look good while they're being half naked, but rather because they stand for something, where there's credibility with the organization. So I think before it comes to that point, they really need to establish that first. Okay, June, sabi niya, I hope we don't see the day na yung winner is doing live selling. I think mangyayari din siya eventually. And it's just a matter of how subtle it looks like on their socials. Okay, where are we na? Okay, so I think I've read most of your comments. Now, let's now go doon sa last two topics, which is the blip that happened on social media by Madam Puwisang Kosik, the Miss Universe Thailand National Director. Okay, for those who are not aware of what happened, because it happened so fast that within like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, her post was gone from her Instagram page. She actually posted on Facebook and Instagram a screenshot regarding a fan comment that says Filipinos or Pinoy pageant fans are bullying or bashing Antonia, and her caption was, "Can someone help me understand this?" or to that effect, something to that effect. And I think this was a honest mistake on her part, that she didn't know what the comment is all about. Maybe the comment was Google translated from Spanish to English, and she's asking people to help her to understand what's the context of what was posted. And the thing about that is that could have been a spark that could have ignited another Philippine and Thai fan wars. And I am quite happy that within like 30 minutes or even like less than that, she took down her post, because if a national director posts something that is so sensitive as like that, people can get up in arms and start a very unwanted fan war between Thai and Filipino pageant fans. Because I understand at this point in time that the relationship between Thai and Filipino fans is a volatile relationship. Each country is passionate about their respective Miss Universe entrants. And what that post could have induced is a possibility that it becomes verbal. The fight becomes verbal between the two different fandoms. And I think instead of rallying for their respective candidates, it takes away the energies from these candidates, and people will become focused on that that fight or that feud. And I am just glad that it didn't come to that point, because at this point in time, I think Filipino fans are very much agitated when they see anything that's any post that's related to Antonia. And Thai fans, I believe, are trying to be very careful with any post with regards to Michelle. And I think it only takes a very small spark to ignite the battle between those two fandoms, and that is something that I don't want to happen. Because the last time that happened, 3 countries that were always fighting on social media, Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines, they all got unplaced at the Miss Universe earlier this January, and I don't want it to happen. This is a very interesting Miss Universe edition, because you literally cannot pinpoint who's going to be the winner at the end of the competition. Unlike last year, we already had like an inkling that Arbony from the very beginning, from the onset that she won Miss USA, would be the presumptive Miss Universe all throughout the entire competition. And we were right about that. This time around, it's like everybody has a different name to tell when they are asked the question, who's the front runner for the title? Who's the main front runner for the title? And I think that's a conversation that we are currently enjoying because we don't see yet an emerging pattern or an emerging, candidate that is going to take it all come finals. And with this situation between the, very volatile na relationship between Thai and Filipino fans, we don't want another feud to take away our energies from what we need to do to support our respective candidates. And I am quite happy that this has not resurfaced. This didn't become a full-blown fight between two fandoms. So I am kind of relieved that we're now focusing on our respective na mga representatives for Miss Universe. And I do hope for the Filipino fandom that if this comes again, that there is someone who's provoking any fight between the two fandoms, let's not participate. Let's learn to ignore. Dahil hindi makakabuti sa atin yung nang-aaway tayo. Because as of this moment, kapag pinag-uusapan ang Filipino fandom, meron tayong negative side na we tend to, to have this mob mentality, which is very scary dahil it can go out of hand. And I've experienced that as well earlier this year when me and Mark, we discussed that on our first live stream together for Miss Universe, the 2022 edition, na pag nilista namin, sino yung mga gusto nating ipasok doon sa top 7 natin for this conversation. The mere fact na hindi namin inilagay si Celeste doon sa top 7 namin, even if Celeste was part of our top 10, ang laking issue sa Filipino pageant fans yon. And this is the kind of maturity that we need to learn, that hindi lahat ng pagkakataon ang mga manok natin nasa listahan. And that is why whenever I see, Latino fan pages not posting Michelle in the top 10, in the top 20, I don't mind. I don't mind at all dahil that's their opinion. I have a different opinion. I still think that Michelle is a top 10 contender. So even possible top 5. So even if others do not see my perspective, I am not affected because I'm confident with my perspective that we have a strong delegate. But it does not help me that I start arguing with other pages or other people to put my pick on their top pick, because that is not how things work. We all have individual opinions, and let's start to agree to disagree and leave it at that. I think we needed to learn from the humble pie that was served to us earlier in January. The mere fact that ngayon, kapag nakikita ko na kapag may post about Antonia, parang agitated tayo masyado. I mean, we really need to learn the art of Degma na kapag wala sa listahan nila si Miss Philippines, move on. Huwag tayong makisawsaw doon sa doon sa post na yon. Let's engage doon sa mga post na meron si Michelle. So that way, we're not engaging with fan wars, but rather we are respectful of the differences of opinions. So I think in terms of the fourth na issue, I am glad that we are starting to become more mature, and I do hope that the Sashes&Scripts community is part of that community that is mature when it comes to conversations like this. Hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon people are going to favor our representatives. So let's not shove, Michelle or Miss Philippines in different competitions at the throats of other pageant fans, because that's not how it works. People would rather be wanted and swayed to support our representative if we converse and engage with them in a respectable manner. If we do that, I think there's more people that we can win over to our side rather than antagonize them and shove it down their throats that they have to support the girls that we're supporting, because that's not how you convince people, to look at your perspective. Okay? There's so many posts and comments now. Okay, the whatever channel says they have the most expensive crown, but those who provide crowns this year refuse to help in anything. They only show their crowns that they do not give, which is very low level of that jewelry is sponsor. Simply Jory is here. Sabi niya, hello. Kiisa is here. Kiisa, I think some of your earlier messages has been retracted. So I'm just reading na lang itong mga posts mo here. Sabi niya, what if they do free streaming when we sent gifts like Kumu or likewise apps? I think that's a good idea. They do, live streaming, but on platforms where you can donate. Pretty much like YouTube, where you can also give donations, or there is a subscription feature on YouTube that they can probably use in order for them to monetize their content. Okay? Yes, sabi ni Kisa, it's like the super chat or stickers here in YouTube. Okay, Jon Snow says, with all the preparation, superb presentation of MMD, and with obvious rallied support through votes and engagement, what do you think will be the implication if MMD will not place come finals night? Jon Snow, I don't want to think about that right now. I am comfortable with the feeling and the belief that Michelle is going to make top 20, top 10 at Miss Universe. Top 5, medyo patayan na yung makapasok ng top 5. But I do hope that ultimately, whoever makes top 5 are deserving girls. So I do hope that as of this moment, we just believe that Michelle will do her part to carry the Philippines into the semis. Kent Mangoba is here. Sabi niya, Sir Jason, what can you say about the activities of the ladies in El Salvador so far? By the way, I always learn something after watching your live. Thanks for everything that you do, sir. Okay, Kent, right now I'm still at the point where na-enjoy ko yung mga girls na they go around, they do fun activities, they do they call this like tourist spot visits in El Salvador. I think that they are still at the days where hindi pa nagsiset in that they are in a competition. Sadali lang. Okay, so as I was saying, they're not yet at the I need to compete na mentality. Probably 2 days or a day before the preliminaries, that's when the competitive spirit starts to rise among the girls. Because here's what's going to happen. 2 days, 3 days, or even 4 days before the preliminaries, pageant pages will start to bring down their lists on who are the women that they are expecting to become the next Miss Universe. And this is where pageant girls, the candidates, would start gauging if whether or not these pages are reliable and sabi naman natin siguro na may authority to say who are the top girls. They will start now to gauge each other in the competition based on what they see on social. So, over the next several days, lahat ng mga pageant pages unti-unting maglalabas na ito yung babantayan natin for the Miss Universe preliminaries. And that is where pageant girls will become more competitive over the next several days. As of this moment, they're still enjoying their activities. They're still observing what's going on. But at the back of their heads, they're already observing their co-candidates who gets more fan attention, who gets more press attention, who gets more engagement on socials. So, at their back of their heads, the competition is already creeping up, but they will only feel that 2 days or a day before the preliminaries, because that is where magbabago ang tono ng kanta ng mga candidates. They will become more competitive as the preliminaries are starting to get close. And after the preliminaries, dyan talaga mo makikita kung sino yung yung uhaw na manalo, because she will start to look at the competition as like a tiger watching her prey. The prize for the tiger is the Miss Universe crown. So they will start to be very focused mentally on what they need to do, what it takes to be the next Miss Universe. So as of this moment, they're enjoying their activities, they're having fun. It's all, friendship, hallelujah, kumbaya at this as of this moment. But come preliminaries, that is where things is gonna change. Okay, where are we? Okay, Ben Hernandez, sabi niya, about the fan wars. Sana may ibalik ang solidarity ng mga fans, in this case, ay mga Asians. Noon kasi, basta makalusot ang isang Asian, happy na ang lahat ng Asian fans. I agree. I do hope that we come to the point where we can rally for each other's, candidates without having to pull others down. Kasi importante that there is a solidarity between pageant fans, that because during the 90s, I am not sure if that's still the case for most of you guys, but during the 90s me and my friends, my gay friends, when I was in college, when we watched the Miss Universe pageant, meron kaming, okay, hindi na nakapasok si Miss Philippines, so lipat tayo kay ganito, siya ang supportahan natin. That has always been the case with me and my friends. And I actually remember in I think I was in college by that time. I think it was 97, I think, with Abigail Arenas, that we were rallying for her to make semis. Sayang yung 0.01 na point na sana nakapasok siya. So after After Abby didn't make top 10, we shifted our support to Miss India. So when Miss India didn't make top 5, top 6 or top 3, we shifted our support to Miss USA. So sana ganun din tayo ngayon, that if the girl that we're supporting did not make the cut, then we support the other girls that are on our list. So I think that would make it easier for us to accept that there are times that we win it all, there are times that we don't. Okay? Okay, let me continue the comment from Ben Hernandez. He says, last year's clapping for the Philippines, Indonesia, and Thailand served as a lesson para huwag nang magbashing at magkapikunan ng mga fans. Dapat ay nagkakapihan at nagkakaisa. Okay? The comment is skipped on moving. Okay, the whatever channel says, Michelle deserves the crown. The only girl deserves the crown is Michelle, I swear. Simply Jury says, Sir Jason, pag like po ng Talk Miss Thailand. Sir Jason, like po ng Talk Miss Universe Thailand. We reply with kindness, although may nagkakalat pa din dun na mga Pinoy. And I do hope that we learn to get along with other pageant fandoms, because the kindness that we extend to other people, it always finds its way back to us. So if we keep thinking that we can support each other and each other's candidates, maybe it is possible that come time that we are also needing support. There are also people from the other pageant fandoms that's going to support us as well. So, Sir Ronan is here. Guys, let me introduce to you Sir Ronan Refuerzo. Sabi niya, hello Sir Jason. Sir Ronan is actually the discoverer and handler of Gabby Basiano. And Justin Ong. And my God. Sino ba? I'm forgetting something. Si Michael Ver. Okay? So, hello. Welcome po sa channel. I hope you're enjoying our discussion this evening. Kiisa says, during Rio Mori's time, we were supporting Japan and Korea. And I love the camaraderie that if in case our girl does not make it to the semis of the Miss Universe pageant, we support the next Asian girl. So, I think siguro naman hindi masyado mabigat. That's not something that's too difficult for us to do. That if in case, our bets does not make it, we support other girls in return. It's not, it's not too hard to do that actually. It's quite easy. We should try it sometime. Okay? JUP is here. Sabi niya, good evening, Sir Jason. Kudos to your bio description provided in IG. Candidates should learn how to effectively write their bios and it will serve as their resume. Okay, JUP, I will be having a different live stream for that. I am scheduling another live stream this Sunday, maybe around 4 o'clock or 5 p.m. I'm going to do it a little bit early for the Sunday na live stream para I have time naman to prepare for my class kasi I have early Monday morning class at around 8 a.m. So and it's in Makati. So hindi ako pwedeng magpuyat. So on Sunday I will be discussing the bios of the girls because honestly I feel that the bios that were posted on the MU app is not really reflective of the achievements of the girls. So I do hope that a lot of you will be there when we discuss that because by then, I think baka manaro ko na kung sino yung top 2 girls na nafe-feel ko na pwedeng manalo as Miss Universe. Because right now, I'm still, there are 3 things that I'm looking at currently for the possible Miss Universe winner. I'm looking at face, I'm looking at their bio, and then I am going to look at their performance, their preliminary performance. So, come time that all 3 is already available, nakita ko na yung mga prelims, baka dun mananalo ko na kung sino yung tingin ko mananalo. Okay? But then again, that's just a prediction. Pwedeng mangyari, pwedeng hindi. Okay? Mitsuko Ogata, sabi niya, naawa ko kay Arbany. Her reign started and ended with controversies. Not because of her, but the org she's with. Sana smooth lang ang reign ng next queen. I agree. I do hope that the same thing as well. Everybody wants to have, a memorable reign for the reigning Miss Universe winner. But maybe there are things that we don't see that Arbony is doing that's making her fulfilled with her reign. Whether it's, engaging with more people, engaging with fans, or the Miss Universe platform is something that she really has, that she was really expecting to help her out on her social causes, then maybe that's the takeaway from that. As long as at the end of the day, Arbony is happy with her reign, I don't think there is anything that I could ask for that the Miss Universe organization should give to Arbony. Okay? Our MK says, I just appreciate Michelle being herself, not conforming to the path that P and Kat previously thread, which is refreshing, and I love her quiet confidence. Same thing here as well. Kaya siguro I'm a little bit more kampante. Hindi ako masyado masigasig, hindi ako masyado gigil this time around because I know she's doing her job. Jon Snow, may iba lang. Have you seen the video of Miss USA na pinipilit ba magpa-picture ng mga Venezuelan fans with Venezuelan flag? Parang sabi niya na nakakaya daw kay Diana. Mukha siyang nakakaawa sa video. I wanna see that later on. But honestly, I do hope fans would be more sensitive. Ayan. Para hindi naman tayong... Kasi ang tsaka naman tignan kung huwag tayo masyadong atribida. Diba? But rather, okay, I do hope that fans will be more sensitive in these kinds of situation because the girls just want to engage, be happy, give into what the fans are asking of them, be approachable. Pero sometimes din kasi, some fans are taking it to a place where it's so difficult to be a nice person. So we really need to be very careful that we don't become too entitled or we become insensitive with the needs of the girls. Like for example, yung nabanggit ni Jon Snow with Miss USA, she doesn't want to step over, Diana Silva, which is the reigning Miss Venezuela. So I think that kind of sensitivity should be something that we should understand as fans. The other thing is, at 12 o'clock in the morning, you're asking, Miss Nepal to be all smiles in front of the camera when all she wanted to do after a long, hard day is to rest. I mean, that's kind of too much. We really need to be, to rein in our entitlement that anything should be given to us by these pageant girls. Their time, their efforts, everything. It's too much. We treat them as humans. They're not workhorses. They're not machines that they don't feel tired, that they don't feel embarrassed. So sometimes we really have to rein in the expectations that they should perform when we are around. So they're not trained monkeys, guys. Let's try to be sensitive with what we are asking out of these Miss Universe contestants because they get tired. If they have activities day in, day out for 15 days, I am sure if you're that kind of person who gets tired, who is not as social, you would, the amount of patience that it takes to be pleasing and pleasant all the time to unpleasant people, it's taxing. Okay, so I hope moving forward we become sensitive. Okay, yun lang naman. Where are we na? Okay, sabi ni Showbiz Tita, sabi niya #Latina Power, tapos tumbling. Okay, tingnan natin. Earlier this October, I did do a live stream about Latina domination in Miss Universe, and I think that's probably going to happen. Okay? Levi, sabi niya, collagen na talaga na X ang stage. I'm still waiting for that to happen. Hindi ko pa nakikita yung mga videos nung mismong stage, so baka X mark the spot lang yung tawag nito, yung mangyayari doon sa nakita natin na supposed to be plotting ng stage based on the ticket selling. So let's wait and see, but I do hope na sana may long runway. Yun lang naman. I think yun naman yung inaabangan natin na fans and even the girls themselves, if they were to choose a stage, a lot of them will probably going to select or opt to a long runway. In fact, yung mga binibining Pilipinas queens that I was able to converse with in the past, sabi nila sana may long runway sa stage para naman hindi sayang yung moment nila dun sa stage. And I kind of agree with that. Okay, nasaan na ba tayo? JUP says, another thing, Sir Jess, MMD is really doing her assignment and listens to fans. Now she is more engaging and totally in control of her journey. This year, with her, felt like we are included in her journey. Sabi naman Levi, ang totoong laban dito is know when to peak your energy, ganun. Key Isa says, the girls are also tired. They usually have 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Also, their diet is also constrained because they need to be in great shape, in good form. So, I agree. Kaya sana yung mga fans who are at the venue, we become a little bit more sensitive that these girls are probably tired towards the end of the day. RMK's saying, I'm just curious, sir, what are the factors that contribute to this pageant phenomenon called El Tucuyo? I'm basically clueless. Okay, RMK's, if you remember Mariam Habak, in her introduction, she mentioned that she came from El Tucuyo, Venezuela, and that stuck with her when she didn't make it to the semis. And essentially, the El Tucuyo Award is formerly known as the Ruth Akumares Award, wherein a strong candidate who is deemed like a shoo-in for the semis did not make semis. So, doon nanggaling yung El Tucuyo na tawag nito, na pangalan. And now, let's talk about the JKN Global na financial issue. And because nowadays, there's a lot of, like, even ABS-CBN, I believe, mentioned about JKN Global filing for bankruptcy. And I think we really need to be very careful with this pronouncement because even Kausod English, I believe, mentioned that in a report, news report on their website, that JKN did file for bankruptcy for JKN Global. And Kausad English is a Thai na news, supposed to be is a Thai news na website. So when I looked over at the Yahoo Finance na report, it didn't say anything about JKN filing for bankruptcy. The wordage that was used was debt rehabilitation, which is very different from bankruptcy. Kasi when you say debt rehabilitation, it means that meron kang utang, kaya mo siyang bayaran, pero hindi ka liquid. Yun yung pagkaka-explika sa akin kung ano ang diferensya ng debt rehabilitation versus bankruptcy. Kasi ang bankruptcy is essentially saying that you don't have the means to pay your financial obligations. The differences between those two is that you have the means, you have the asset to pay, but you're not liquid. So what does that mean? It means that you have assets, but those assets cannot immediately be converted into cash so that you can pay that cash to your debtors. So that is what essentially the Yahoo Financial News reported about. And when some pages, whether it's Filipino pages or Latin pages or other Asian and North American na mga pageant pages started saying that this is bankruptcy, it kinda makes me wanna sigh, because all you needed to do is just Google, read the report, and understand that yes, there is financial jargon used there, but it didn't mention anything about them filing for bankruptcy. It explained there that they have liquidity problems. So, ibig sabihin, they have the assets, but they don't have the cash. So, they just needed to make those non-performing assets, sell them off, and then, and then whatever the income that's generated from them is being converted to cash for payment. So I think that's the thing that we need to understand. We need to learn, financial terms before we spew words that does not mean what was being said. So it's just us being careful. Unless na mismong mga mismong mga financial news na ang nagsasabi, like Bloomberg, that or MSNBC, sila na mismo magsabi na, yeah, JKN Global did file for bankruptcy. We really need to be very careful because pwedeng magkamali ng interpretasyon yung mga tao in terms of the news reports, especially if you're basing it from a Thai script and just used Google Translate to understand what's being said. Sometimes Google Translate is not very accurate, so we really need to be careful with that. Okay, so moving forward, these kinds of pronouncement, mag-ingat tayo dahil the last thing we need to do is maakusahan that the Filipino pages and Filipino pageant fans are accused of spreading, unfounded rumors, are being tagged as spreaders of fake news, and we don't want that to happen. We are already, under the microscope in terms of our behavior. Let's not add more scrutiny on the Filipino pageant fandom, because we really need to make our fandom have a better image than that. Okay, so I think moving forward, we need to exercise extra caution. We don't take things at face value. We need to do our research, especially on something that we do not have the authority or the understanding of. Okay, now let's get back to the comment section dahil there are maraming comments na ngayon. Okay, Levi says, grabe si France. I can see Miss Universe in her. Exactly. And that's the reason why I posted her reel when she is encouraging, a girl with lip surgery, cleft palate, surgery, to be confident with herself. I think that shows, a remarkable attitude coming from her, especially that Miss France actually speaks 3 languages. She speaks Spanish, French, and of course English. And I'm kind of impressed with her because if you are able to inspire people, I think that is a good asset to have if you want to become Miss Universe. Sana ba? Okay, John Snow 79 says, regarding El Tucuyo, nasa-sense mo na ba na isa sa MOBA 5 ang El Tucuyo this year? Possibly. But I also sense that much like the year of Harnaz, where she was also in the MOBA shoot, possibly that the next Miss Universe is also in the MOBA Cosmetics na ad. Levi says, France's smile train stint has been nothing but empowering. I agree. Kiisa says, the MOBA curse is scary. I agree, but at one point in time, they got the Miss Universe right with Harnaz. And if I'm not mistaken, some of the girls in their MOBA shoot last year, like Spain, made it into the semis. So maybe there is like a counterbalance of that. Okay, JP says, agree, Sir Jess. Debt rehab is just prolonging the terms. Reduce the interest, while bankruptcy is total liquidation of the business. Yun na nga, we really need to learn what these terms means before we jump into conclusions. Continuing from JUP's comment, pay all creditors with secured debt, and for these unsecured, only whatever is left after all secured creditors. Art Laurent, sabi niya, we have to remember that Donald Trump filed for bankruptcy twice before he even bought the MUO. So wag tayong maging sobrang harsh kay Hello Universe. I believe she can bounce back in this mess. I agree, because filing bankruptcy does not mean that you're giving up. It means that you're in a financial na mess, and you're trying to solve that. So wag tayong masyadong wag tayong masyadong harsh on that front because at some point every businessman has filed for bankruptcy to protect whatever is left of their assets. Davis Ordaneta says, Bloomberg says JKN Group asked Thai court for debt rescue, which is a step before bankruptcy if things doesn't work out. So again, it's not yet bankruptcy, but rather it's still a smidge far away from that. Sabi ni JUP, filing debt rehabilitation is very common in business or in corporate world, even filing bankruptcy. Sabi ni Art Loren, friend, Miss France also speaks Portuguese and Spanish citizen din siya. So that's good to hear because I think we're seeing a global citizen with Diane Leire. Okay, Antonia Montero Hernandez says, some Filipino fans, especially from the LGBT group, are so pronounced in their biases against a candidate they don't like, even to the candidates who represents their own country. Okay, so I do hope that if we don't like somebody, let's just move on from them rather than engage in hate speech or engage in bashing or underhanded comments, because it moves the energy towards the candidate. Negative attention is still attention, and this is also the reason why, as I was reviewing stats on posts, I noticed that there is more engagements on anything that is related to a certain candidate, despite the comment section on a certain post on that certain candidate is merely post in favor of another candidate. So it's kind of baffling to me that instead of engaging on posts regarding the girls that you support, you are at the other candidates' posts and spewing whatever insecurities that you have on that. It doesn't bode well in terms of your support because it only shows that you are insecure about your favorite candidate. So we really need to be very mindful of our behavior because it's reflecting our own insecurities, and we're projecting that with the underhanded comments that we post on other candidates. Okay? Levi says, sana mag-step back sa Merlilat si Direk Gina Alahar. In fairness kay Direk Joel Lamangan, di masyadong dumidigit kay Merlilat niya. Kiisa says, Sir Jason, what can you say about Yugen girls? Are they currently in your top 20 list? Yes. If you notice, if you have read my list of the best faces and my list of the best MU resume, I'd say that one or two of the girls from Josh Yugen are actually on the list consistently. In fact, if you noticed my latest IG stories on Erica Robin, I mentioned that she actually looks like Janik Maceta at some certain angles. And if you're familiar with the Miss Universe Argentina in 2013, I think her name is Alexa Viruez. She has resemblance on those ladies. So Miss Pakistan, Erica Robin, is also a Yugen girl. And I think she is among the three girls, is one of the most articulate and one of the most opinionated in the entire Miss Universe group. And if there is one thing that I've noticed among Lu Jane Yakub, who is Miss Universe Bahrain, and Mora Tantawi, which is Miss Universe Egypt, they are really good public speakers. And they are very fearless when it comes to communicating. So I think in terms of the closer interviews, it's just a matter of preference na lang by the judges. But in terms of technical skill, communications skill, I think those three girls from Josh Yugen are really strong competitors. I am I'm having a little bit of bias towards Lujane and Erica. Although Lujane is actually my personal favorite because her personal Miss Universe na favorite is Catriona. So, I don't know. I think that all three of them are on equal standing in terms of communication skills. So they really just need to showcase, their pasarela skills come preliminaries. I think Mora Tantawi is one of those girls na you really want to look at when she speaks because there is such depth. And her voice, the resonance of her voice is really sweet but deep. So you kind of feel that these three girls, if they are in equal footing with all the other girls in the competition, they should make semis. Okay. Sabi ni Romnick Parinya, Sir Jason, ano ang mas mabigat for you, credentials or face value? Right of this moment for Miss Universe, face value kasi kailangan nilang bumenta. They really need to find a commercial girl who can bring in revenue for the Miss Universe organization. And if you imagine the Miss Universe organization during the Trump era na tawag ito, Trump era na period, a lot of the girls are actually more on the face value than communication skills. I think, and that's the reason why, they are successful during that time. Nababawi siguro naman nila yung kanilang mga expenses every year during the Trump era. So maybe this time around, the Miss Universe organization under Kun An should look at a girl who can speak, who has good face, but ultimately she needs to be very commercial and very marketable. Okay. Sabi ni JUP, Miss Bahrain, parang Katarina Rodriguez vibes. Mas maganda pa siya in person. Honestly. Because when we were invited to the meet and greet of the three girls here in Manila, there is something mesmerizing with Lou Jane. But on the other hand, si Erica Robin, si Miss Universe Pakistan, has that kind of how to say this, pageant face that you cannot ignore. But at the same time, si Mora naman has a very magnetic na personality that draws you in. So, I think silang lahat na tatlo may kanya-kanyang individual na strengths, and I do hope na at least one of them makes semis in Miss Universe this year. Okay? June is asking, how will the JKN issue affect the selection of the winner? Ayun na nga, as I mentioned, I think Miss Universe is probably going to select a candidate who is both marketable and commercial, so that girl is going to bring in the revenue for the Miss Universe organization. Okay? Okay, Art Lawrence says, just a friendly reminder for the Pinoy pageant fans who are rooting for Michelle to behave and Tagalogi ko na nga lang, na mag-behave kayo at huwag ugaling kanal dahil baka maulit ang non-placement ng Pilipinas this year. Stop the hate. I agree. We really need to start, being mindful of what we comment on social media. If you don't like a certain girl, then all you need to do is just, scroll ahead. Move on, move past it. No need for you to engage because it's not good for your mental health. It's not good for the mental health of the candidate if they read these comments from these fans, and it's also not good because it puts us in a bad light collectively as a pageant fandom. Okay? June, sabi niya, for you, who is the most bankable or commercial contestant? June, I will be answering that in the next few days. So abangan. Probably by the time that we are doing our live stream on Sunday, I am gonna be able to give you the answer to that and why. Kasi importante yung why, okay? John Snow 79 says, may idea na ba kayo sino ang mga judges this year? Parang late na ngayon na up to now, wala pang balitang nilalabas ang Miss Universe org. Parang yung mga host lang na recently lang na-announce. I am thinking that they will probably announce the judges closer towards the preliminaries. So let's just wait a little bit for that. The Whatever Channel says, how will this Miss Universe bring money for the organization? It should be her own money. I don't know. Seems like new to details. Okay. I was just a simple watcher. Only these 2 years I started following their news. Okay. How will the Miss Universe bring money to the organization? It's through public appearances, endorsements, and whatnot. These are the some of the things that the Miss Universe organization through JKN mentioned when she laid out plans on revenue, and that is talent management. So when you have a talent, you pay for her time, you pay for her appearances, you pay for her for her to endorse your products. So that's one part of the revenue. The other parts of the revenue income stream for the Miss Universe organization under JKN that she explicitly explained about is through merchandise, selling merchandise, whether it's skincare, whether it's fashion, whether it's apparel and accessories. Then there's also hosting fees. Don't you know that in Miss Universe, before you are allowed to host a pageant, you have to first pay a hosting rights fee. After that, there is also revenue that they can generate through production. So you have to pay the Miss Universe organization to bring in the production of the Miss Universe pageant in your country. And then there's also partnerships with other brands and pageant sponsorships. So those are ways that the Miss Universe organization is earning from is earning revenue. Okay. Migs It Up says, I love Miss Pakistan, rooting for her to enter the semis or top 10. Pero syempre, Michelle pa din for the 5th crown. Kiisa says, I like the kindness campaign and the strategy. John Snow 79, pag nalaman kasi natin kung sino ang set of judges, magkakahin tayo kung ano ang hinahanap ng nilang quality ng winner. I agree. So let's just wait for announcement on that. I am, much like in every other year, I think that this year's Miss Universe judges will be American-centric. Because again, it has something to do with optics. Kevin Herbabuena says, after the latest news about JKN, I think the MUO will choose a marketable queen. Thailand, El Salvador, Philippines lang ang kaya magdala ng malaking money sa org, if ever. Art Laurent says, just push MMD up without bullying other candidates. Itigil niyo ang pagiging mga feeling pageant aficionado nyo at sobrang feeling entitled and opinionated because it will just hurt Michelle's chances to win. Brownie Prinoy says, aloha Jason, aloha and how do you say thank you, mahalo for watching our live stream. Brownie Pinoy says, do you know that what percentage of the total score the interview, swimsuit, and evening gown will be for this year's MU? From previous na mga pronouncements ng mga judges in the past year, I think this one, the one that I can immediately think of is the one in 2016, where one of the judges mentioned that 60% of the judging criteria is on the closed-door interviews, and the remaining 40 is split between the swimsuit preliminaries and the evening gown preliminaries. So you really have to nail your closed-door interviews. Okay? Sabi ni... Saan ba to? Sabi ni RM Case, it saddens me that Indonesians don't give support to Fabian. I find her a genuine kind of person. It's unfortunate that a negative issue against her org coincided with her reign. Lemuel 23:5 says, I just hope the set of judges for the finals will be a mix of genders to be fair. And mix of ethnicities and nationalities as well, because again, if you want a diverse, set of semifinalists, you have to have a diverse set of judges. Mix It Up says, do you think magkakaroon ng at least one Pinoy judge? I am not expecting it, but if it happens, then 100% yes. Rafael Martinez says, Hi Sir Jason, kailan ulit collab niyo ni Sir Mark, watching from Marikina? Okay, Rafael, me and Mark have discussed that we are going to have a live stream after the preliminaries. So, abangan niyo na lang yan. Kevin Herbabuena, Sir Jess, may confirmation na ba na may new crown ang MUO this year? Tingin ko wala. I think every 2 years sila magpapalit ng crown, if I'm not mistaken. Saka besides, January lang naman na nilabas yung bagong crown, di ba? Parang it's too early to change crown as of the moment. So, let's wait and see. Okay, Antonio Montero Hernandez says, everything the candidates do, say, relate other candidates. And with the audience and the fans' attitudes, whether negative or positive, comments will be accounted for by the Miss Universe MUOs judging the candidates. Okay, I do hope that we understand that what we post for our candidates or against other candidates is a reflection back on us. If the judges gets a hold of this is how the pageant fandom from the Philippines behave, that probably can be a trigger for them to be turned off. So let's not risk that, okay? Just so that, and this is not only applicable to the Filipino fandom, but also to other fandoms as well, whether it's Thai, Indian, Venezuelan, Puerto Rican, or Mexican pageant fandoms. We need to be very careful with our attitude, because our attitudes on social media can affect other candidates and how other people perceive us and our candidates. Okay? Where are we? Okay. Lemon 23:5. Sabi sa talk show ni Tito Boy Abonda that he was supposed to be involved in the finals as a judge, but he purposely declined to avoid biases towards his choices. Kasi, if I'm not mistaken, there were rumors that Tito Boy was one of the guys who trained MMD Michelle on public speaking. So, I mean, that speaks of the integrity of Tito Boy Abunda, that he would excuse himself from judging, knowing that he has his hand on the training of a candidate. Kasi the candidates, or rather the judges, the judges that are selected for the pageant should not have any communications or contact with the candidates, except for official functions that is imposed by the Miss Universe organization. So, kaya nga, na-question din ang integrity ni Crystal Stewart when she sat as a judge in Miss Universe 2019, knowing na meron siyang prior contact kay Miss Indonesia before the pageant. So, medyo nakaka-turn off. That is why it is commendable that Tito Boy has that integrity in him to decline. If totoo nga na he was supposed to be invited to sit as a judge. Okay, sabi ni Brownie Pinoy, mahalo also for the live. What can you say about Michael Barasi's works? He made MMD's national costume. I want to see first doon sa national costume show what Michelle's outfit is going to look like, because he did Michelle's national costume during MUPH, and I think he did spectacularly on that. I know that some Pinoys are triggered with the video from MUBA when the video showed a blurred image of Michelle's national costume. Guys, it's so, I don't know, it's so inconsequential na na mabanggit kung ano yung national costume ni Michelle, because lahat naman ng mga candidates at this point in time, hindi naman nila kayang baguhin yung national costume nila. It's just a matter of time that we will be seeing all of these costumes. Okay, and besides, the national costume is not a scored na tawag nito na event. So I don't think there's a reason to get fuzzy about the dimension that the national costume is Michelle is like this or like that. It's about an airplane. It's about it's about a eagle. It's about an whatever. Kasi it's not a scored competition. Okay. Nasaan na ba tayo? Kevin Herbabuena says, Sir Jess, narinig nyo na po ba ang chismis na may national director na nag-courtesy call daw sa MU.org while ongoing ang mga pre-pageant activity? Do you think it's ethical? Okay, here's the thing. Every year, all national directors are invited by the Miss Universe organization to have a closed-door meeting. So, whether or not these rumors are true, hindi natin alam. We are not in the know of what are the things that was discussed because we have to understand that the national directors sometimes have direct access to communicate with the organization's leadership. So if in case that, for example, a national director from Asia or Europe or Africa contacted let's say Paula Shugart or Amy Emmerich, and they are voicing concerns about their girls' safety, for example, we cannot say for sure what the conversation was all about. So it is possible that they probably contacted for security measures, especially if your candidate is very much well received. There's a lot of people surrounding her all the time during public appearances, then it's up to you to ask for additional security for certain girls who have, huge fandoms. So I think we're just reading too much on it because ultimately, closer to, to the end of the pageant, there is a national director conference that happens for the Miss Universe directors. So let's not be, let's not colorize the conversation because we are not aware of what the conversation was all about. I think we need to be very careful when we interpret things when interpretation is not needed. Okay? So let's just be careful with those kinds of conversation. Chichi, that is Chichi territory. Chismis yan na territory, and unless we have proof that this is what they talked about, all we can say is that those are rumors as of this point, because we cannot verify the veracity of the information or the truthfulness of the information. Okay? Rafael Martinez, going into competition proper in the next few days, sa tingin mo po, ba magkakaroon pa ng chance na magkakilala man lang sina MMD at Antonia? I think they probably have met at some point or another in the competition. It's just probably that when they met is walang camera na involved. And besides, you have to understand that if you are in a Miss Universe competition, you are certainly grouped randomly into different groups, and there is a possibility that Michelle's group and Antonia's group are of different activities for the day, and that is why we don't see much of them being photographed together. Because when I was covering Miss Universe in 2015, 2017, in Doral in 2014, there are certain activities that only a certain set of candidates are there, while the other half or other group of candidates goes for filming, for photo shoots, or other activities. So nagro-rotate yung mga girls. And it just so happened that perhaps that is the case for Antonia and Michelle. Okay, John Snow 79 says, wala pa ring update sa format ng MU this year. May post kunan na huwag maniwala sa mga lumalabas na post regarding format. Baka gulatin na naman tayo na biglang continental na naman ang format. So be ready. Yeah, I think Miss Universe is very unpredictable, especially with new leadership, because I think when you are new in the ownership, you want to experiment on what could or what could not work. Okay? Nasaan na ba tayo? Sabi ni Kiisa, we have 2 Pinoy sponsors for Miss Universe org. Pero, ni-elto kuyo pa din tayo. I think it's still the reps' performance during prelims and closed-door interview. At syempre, attitude din. So, this year, I think Olivia Cuido is still a sponsor, as well as Jojo Baragais. So, in terms naman of sponsorship, nandun pa rin naman ang Pinoy Power. Okay? Sabi ni Lemuel 23.5 with regards to dun sa national costume ni Michelle. A few fans masyado triggered na pinakita ng MUO yung not cost ng queen natin. Isipin lang na maybe the MUO did show that in the behind the queen simply because they were impressed. Okay, Travel Junkie, sabi niya, Sir, ano masasabi mo? Last edition na daw po ni Paula S. Paula Soriano. I actually answered this question earlier on. Let's not be shocked that this is happening. Last year, 2 major heads of the Miss Universe organization left the organization. Esther's one is one of those. It's been a long, conversation on Paula Sugart's contribution on the Miss Universe organization. It would be very sad if she leaves the organization anytime soon, and that's just how it is. I think we have to understand that with new ownership, the possibility of having to change leadership is highly possible, especially that if in the next 2 or 3 years, we will see the Miss Universe organization headquarters traveling and moving to Bangkok, then not a lot of people will probably want to move. And I think this is just a progression of things. You cannot make newness inside the organization if you have the old guard still present. So, it's been a long time since we've heard na gusto nang tanggalin si Paula ng IMG noon, and magkakaroon ng pagbabago with the appearance of Amy Emmerich as the CEO of the Miss Universe organization. So, things change, and I think we have to be open that walang forever. That maybe Paula also wants to retire. She's been in the Miss Universe organization for more than 30 years now. She's been there since 97 or 98. So siguro naman if she wants to retire, we gotta support her decision. Okay? Nasaan na ba tayo? Oh my God. Nagda-dry up ng aking eyes. I think we've been in the conversation for like 2 hours nang mahigit. So let's wrap this up na with the final na mga comments. Okay? Nasa ba to? Sabi ni Kevin Herbabuena, let's talk about it po. Do you really think that it's fair for an org to judge the candidates through the attitude of their fans? Para kasing nilulook over nila ang hard work ng candidate. I think it affects yung perception ng mga judges doon sa girls. I don't think that it is a scored na tawag ito. It's a scored na part of the judging, but it creates a mental bias that in most cases people are not aware of. Bigla ka na lang na turn on, and that that, or rather, bigla ka na lang na turn off. And that can impact the way that you perceive other people. Like, for example, have you ever had the notion na na-meet nyo ang magulang ng isa sa mga kaibigan nyo at na-turn off kayo dun sa attitude ng parents, and then suddenly you have a different perception or perspective on your friend? That happens. And that's something that we should not be, dismissing immediately. Our actions have consequences. And I think it's high time that we learn how to behave. We learn how to be, mature na individuals on social media, especially on social media, because it's so open that anyone who has access to the internet, access to the social media platforms can see what we post and who we post about. Okay, Mix It Up says, do you think if ipanalo ng MUO si MMD, makakatulong sa business side ng MUO? Kasi proven na with the win of Pia and Catrio na nung nanalo sila, na malaki ang naitulong nila sa MUO. I think in terms of the marketing power ng Filipino pageant fans, wala tayong magiging problema dyan. However, I think if you look at the Miss Universe organization now, ang titignan nila is hindi kung kaya, kundi kung sino yung makakapagbigay ng mas malaki. It's not the ability na ni Michelle na makatulong sa business, because definitely she may puwersa ang Pinas. But sino bang mas malaki ang puwersa? Yun ang titignan natin ngayon. It's not about who can deliver, but how much can that person deliver or that country can deliver. So there's a distinguishable difference in both. Okay? Sabi ni Daniel Sport, hi Sir Jason, pag-greet po si Eugene. Hello Eugene, good evening. Welcome to our live stream if you're watching. And I do hope that you're in good mood habang nanonood ka ngayon dahil binati ka ni Daniel Sport. Ayan, EJ David, sabi niya, sina Paulina Vega, Alicia Machado, Stefania Fernandez at Catriona Gray bilang host sa Miss Universe 2023 pageant sa El Salvador. EJ David, nabanggit na that it's Maria Menunos, it's what's her name, Olivia Colpo and Jeannie May is going to host the Miss Universe pageant again this year, and Zuriho and Catriona Gray will be back as backstage correspondents. Okay, may mga paulit-ulit ng mga comments. Sabi ni EJ David, yung floral two-piece swimsuits pang opening number at yung blue two-piece swimsuits pang swimsuit competition sa Miss Universe. Okay, EJ David, I don't know if that's true. So, hintayin ko na lang kung totoo yan. Dahil, again, I think mas mukhang kuryente yung chichi na yan dahil Clarice is sponsoring the Miss Universe organization, and it is more likely that Clarice is going to be the opening dresses for this year. However, Ruben Singer, who is the designer for the swimsuits, I think yung kanyang mga swimsuit designs is going to be a little bit more sculptural. So let's just wait and see dahil he's using vegan leather dun sa kanyang mga designs. And again, medyo on the fence ako with the metallic na mga swimsuits for Miss Universe dahil ang metallic kasi nakakalaki ng katawan, and sometimes it's not as flattering. But I do hope na it looks good on TV. So yun na lang. Sabi ni Davis Ordaneta, I'm flying to El Salvador on Tuesday to support Michelle. Confident ako na worth it yung pagpunta ko kahit mahal yung tickets. Hindi lang yung airfare, pati yung mismong venue, mahal yung tickets for the finals. Sabi naman ni June, sana all Davis Ordaneta. Okay. Melby says, bagong interview ni Adam kay Michelle, bago ang rehearsal. Pageant fan NYC, oh my God, so excited to going to El Salvador on Wednesday, hoping for the best, Laban Pilipinas. Okay, so guys, let's now wrap this up. I think ultimately the takeaway for this live stream is that when it comes to our behavior on social media, we really have to be careful. Whether it's posting verified na news, whether it's posting mga chichi na alam natin na mas malamang kuryente, or we talk about posts or news bits that we don't fully understand the context, or we don't fully understand yung what do you call this, yung meaning behind the terms that's used. So we really have to look into what those are, investigate before making it true, even if it's just within the realm of the chichi. Okay? We really have to be careful because what we do affects other people. And alam niyo yun, may domino effect, may ripple effect yung mga ginagawa natin on social, and it can affect, how people perceive us, and maybe ultimately how people perceive our candidates. So I do hope that moving forward, let's be careful, and let's be respectful that we are not going to have the same opinions on multiple issues and multiple support that we give to different candidates. So let us agree to disagree and be respectful that hindi tayo iisa ang kaha. Kumbaga, we're not made from the same mold. We're not we're not clones. So differences in opinion is highly encouraged, and it's possible that we respect each other's differences in opinions. Kaya siguro with this Miss Universe season, if we have something to say that is not that can be detrimental to other people, we keep it to ourselves, and let's just be careful that we are branded as bullies, as bashers, because this is not the kind of pageant fandom that we are trying to build. Okay, so I know that the Sashes&Scripts community is a very mature, very intelligent community. I do hope that you understand that that aspect, that we are free to spout whatever opinions that we have, but we are not free from the consequences of what we say. So I hope that between choosing to support our candidate or support other candidates, we are respectful that other people probably will not share the same sentiment as we do. And I hope that moving forward, let's be kind to each other and not provoke each other into fan wars, because it's not helping us. We've seen it, become detrimental to us during the 71st Miss Universe pageant. I do hope that we've already learned our lessons by now, and we move forward by supporting the girls that we like. Okay? And yun nga, sabi nga ni John, sana tumigil na ang mga ugaling kanal because hindi nakakaganda. Okay? Hindi nakakaganda ng image natin at ng mga candidates natin in the long run. Okay? Now, going to sa ating poll, I'm ending the poll now, and I'm looking at the results, and the results are in. Sabi nyo, 24% of you are going to watch the live bash na what do you call this, live bash na live stream on the preliminaries. There's 30% of you na still not sure how or where to watch, while an overwhelming 45% na maghihintay na lang ng mga bootleg na mga live stream come finals, come preliminaries. Okay? So guys, whatever you choose for your choice kung paano mo manood ng live stream, sana after the preliminaries, we respect each other's differences in opinions. Sometimes, what others see on a certain candidate, we don't see, and vice versa. And maybe, their opinions on our candidates, whether it's positive or negatives, don't let it affect us so much, especially the negative comments, because sometimes people on social media are brave to say all of these negative things because they don't show their faces. And if you meet them in person and ask them about these things that they're saying, I don't think they would have the audacity to say it to your face, yung mga pinagsasabi nila on social media. And I do hope na kapag may nakita tayong hindi maganda, move on. We don't need to engage with those people. Pero sana, wag naman tayo na pupunta doon sa mga pages and provoke na mga tao nito, provoke mga away. Hindi rin nakakaganda on our end. Okay? Because of course, kapag provoke mo isang tao, naturalmente, lalaban yung mga yan or they would defend themselves. So, and kapag nagkaroon ng away, yun ang nagiging mitya kung minsan. So, iwasan na natin na mangyari yun. Okay? Last comment here from Frozen Spirit. Sabi niya, good PM Sir Jess, I'd say para sa mga kanal, they have the free will to express their opinions online. Kaya need nila ng isang fumigation process para mapuksa. Absent si Sir Mark tonight. Frozen Spirit, magkakaroon kami ng live stream after the prelims. But hindi ngayon. Okay? The whatever channel is asking how to know the latest result of fan voting in order. You mean the MU app? Unless the Miss Universe organization posts who are the top 10 in the votes, we wouldn't know. I don't think it is possible to know the ones who are leading at the Miss Universe app voting. Okay? I think, however, for Voice for Change, once that you have submitted your votes, you get updates on that. Okay? So, there it is, guys. Our live stream, umabot na lang 2 oras at almost 30 minutes. Thank you very much for everyone who has been here, commenting, and joining our live stream session. Please do leave a like, a thumbs up after our live stream is over because it helps, the algorithm to push our content to more people. And the more people that can see our live stream, the more that we grow our channel. And for those of you who are new to our live stream, new to our channel, please do hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're updated with regular pageant content that we post on YouTube. Okay? Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being interactive this evening. Please mark your calendars on Sunday because we will be discussing the Miss Universe candidates who have impressive bios and resumes. That is something that I promise you is going to be very interesting because probably by then we can narrow down who are the 3 or 2 girls that is most likely being looked at, that we are looking at as the next Miss Universe. Okay? After that, we will have another conversation after the preliminaries with Mark Sobrajahani, and then we are probably going to mention if we agree on who is our next Miss Universe. Okay? God bless everyone. Have a great evening from me here in Manila to everyone wherever you are in the world, and see you on Sunday. Bye everyone and take care.